Swadika and welcome to Voice of the Nation. Today you're with me, Nina Nirashamalisak Lamir. And for today, Voice of the Nations comes a little bit early as in Thailand we have some interesting topics going on right now. As earlier at 3 p.m. in Thailand local times, the Constitutional Court has ruled today that Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has not been in the Prime Minister seats for more than 8 years, and that's mean that he can go back to work after his 5-week suspensions. So the question now is, what's next for Thailand? And with Prayut being allowed to stay in office until 2025, would there be an election next year? So let's discuss this interesting topic with please welcome Kun Amon Wanit Viwat, political scientist from Chulalongkorn University, political science faculty and commissioner from Constitution Drafting Committee of Thailand. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ Thank you คุณ Nina and สวัสดี the audience สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ First of all, thank you for being here, and I have heard that you have a very, very busy schedule today.
Yes.
So today the court already has ruled that Prime Minister, can we say that Prime Minister now, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha will resume his position as Prime Minister after being suspended for 1 month. What's behind the court's reasons for this?
Well, behind the court, it's really difficult to know what they think about that. But I heard about the result. The 6 of the judge agree with the prolong the term limit of Kun Prayut for another 2 years, approximately 2 years, and another 3 people or 3 judges disagree or still agree that he must, deposed from the year that he been in power from the coup d'etat. That's what happened from today ruling. I would say that the recent verdict of the Constitution Court gave way for General Prayut to remain in power for another half term. I would say that this
2 years and 7 months, right?
It could be about that because he had to be a caretaker for the government for some time before the general election. So it might be 2 and 7 years approximately. From now on. So the supporter of Kun Prayut and the government right now might be worried, and they might spark fear that what will be next for the next government, which means that Kun Prayut might not be the good choice for them to be the next candidate of Prime Minister. Yes, Kun Nina, and also I must say that he already resumed to power as of now, but I heard he said in his profile or in his Facebook or some message that sent out in the social media that he will go back to his office on Monday, this coming Monday.
Oh, he already posted on Facebook that he's thankful for all the support. However, the result, what is as you expected?
Yeah, I would say, even though I not totally disagree with the court verdict today, because I support the idea that he must resume his power or start counting his term limit from the year BE to, I can't remember what, maybe 2019 possibly. That's after 2 years after the constitution put into effect. Not really like the court verdict today, because the court verdict saying that the tenure of Kun Prayut has already counts or immediately counting as soon as the constitution put into force, which is I disagree, because if we count like the court or the constitution ruling today, is mean that all existing or all living prime minister who's still living today, for example, Kun Chawlit, Kun Yingrat, even Kun Thaksin Shinawat, they all will be regarded as the former prime minister who still, if they come back to power again, the tenure that he left out for them will be, we have to do the proportionally calculation for every one of them, which I think this is unfair. I disagree with this kind of thinking, but the court saying that because the law or the supreme law said that the term limit of Kun Prayut must be cut immediately after the constitution put into effect on 2018 approximately.
So according to what the court has ruled earlier, that's mean that he can serve 2 more years after the current House terms ends.
That's correct, because the court start counting his term limit as soon as the constitution, the present constitution, starting put into force. So that's the thing that many people worry, because he only left about 2 years more for another term. If Palang Pracharat Party, for example, would like him to be the next candidate, it's really difficult to make, for example, I would say like make advertising or promote him as the next candidate, because people might worry if he only have 2 more years, only half term. So who will be the next prime minister? Or we will have to prime minister as some country like our neighboring country like Cambodia or Cambodia, who also have 2 prime ministers in the cabinet, which is, I think that's might be nothing wrong with that, but in our culture and most people cannot accept something like that.
Accept that. Yes, that's right. So since you mentioned about this, I would like to talk about what's going to happen from now on and until the end of the year, and what about at the beginning of next year when people start to talk about we may have elections soon, which is likely to be in March.
Yes, I understand that. The election commission has already put forward the plan for the general election on the 7th of May next year. Yes, but anything is possible. I mean, anything can happen from now on, because Kun Prayut said that from now on he no longer he's still in power as a prime minister, but in terms of political affairs, he might assign some other people to get involved instead of himself. That might signal something for all of us, that he possibly try to seclude himself from the public. I don't think so, because by nature, General Prayut is not people who keep quietly, or he want to be silent whenever anything affect on his reputation or someone criticize on what he doing or something like that. So we have to wait and see whether Kun Prayut will do something like he said on his Facebook a few hours ago, for example.
So, but do you think that are we going, is it likely we're going to have election next year?
Yes.
I know that anything can happen, but I mean, Thai people love to hear that. And I mean, not just Thai people, I'm pretty sure that foreigners who have businesses here and diplomats would love to hear about this as well. It's exciting news.
There are many choices. I would say that Kun Prayut as a prime minister, he have right to dissolve the parliament. Dissolve the parliament mean that the government also have to go as well on cabinet. But he remain before the general election taking place, he will have about 45 days in total of, I think about 45 days to settle the general election. So he have to be the caretaker. But it's also very dangerous.
So he has to be the caretaker as well, even if he stepped down from being a prime minister?
Yeah, he have to be the caretaker because the law says so. It put in the law that even he stepped down, but before he have to be remain in power to be the caretaker prime minister until the next cabinet, sworn in power. So they don't have we could not have a vacuum in power for any time at all. So we have to be a caretaker until the next cabinet sworn in. Yes.
So either way, we don't have any choice whether having him as a prime minister or not having him as a prime minister, or whether the house has been dissolved, because General Prayut will always be the caretaker anyway. Is that what you mean?
That's what I said about that. What I said, but the thing that I'm most concerned, as far as I am concerned, is about the coup d'etat. Many people criticized about the coup d'etat a few weeks ago, that no matter the speculation that if Prayut remain in power not in full term, it's not a good choice for him to work on as a prime minister or the next candidate. So there must be something that should give him way to find a good way that he can prolong his tenure. For example, the amendment of the constitution that might be a good choice, because it will spark the rumor that people will demonstrate on the street, like today, that many factions of parties also disagree with the court verdict, and they said that as long as Kun Prayut still remain in power, we will go to the next round of the demonstration. And the next thing that we most
it's already happening today. It's already happening now.
Before that, but yeah, it at Rat Pasong section, intersection, and also I don't want to have another coup in Thailand, but every time that the military said that we no longer stake up the coup, it's always happened. I don't know what the reason for that, but it happened like that. But I would like not to see that happen again in Thailand. Even though I rising to power, the installation as a spokesperson of the CDC came by the installation of the coup leader. But to be honest, I don't want to see another coup, and I would like to have the last coup as the last coup d'etat in Thailand.
So, Ajahn Ka, would that mean that what you say that whatever the government say, it will happen the opposite way, in an opposite way? Is that right?
Not the opposite way. I support. I support this government to finish their job, their term, and also their policy. A lot of policy have already implemented so far, so there's still a lot of things to do. I support the way that they manage to eradicate, not really totally eradicate the virus, but the success in coping with the
COVID-19 situation.
COVID-19, yes, also some policy on the economic downturn so far. like half and half policy, for example. That I think that makes some kind of popularity for this government because most people that I talk or on the street or even some student that I teach them in my class also said that I asked them which of the government policy that you agree that help Thai economy or help Thai society. They said about something like I mentioned earlier.
But I mean, for most of the people, they would like to see something new, and for most of the people, well, according to them, not according to the court, according to them, it's been 8 years, and they would like to have some new development, some new management team coming. And while some of them saying that, okay, maybe this COVID-19 situation in Thailand is actually better than other countries in the world. I admit that too. But in terms of economy, many have said that we haven't done the best jobs. I mean, the government hasn't done the best job, not us. So for this,
but I understand because I mean this is the world scenario that we have to look at because the inflation, the war in Ukraine, or even the energy crisis in European country, and also possibly some people project on the warming condition of this world.
Climate change,
for example. So everything bring in together. So that might cause a lot of problem, not only Thailand but another country as well.
อาจารย์คะ let's since we have another 10-15 minutes left, let's just point down together.
Yes.
What are the main points that we are going to see? What are the main points that we are going what are the main points that are going to happen next, as in from now on until, let's say, June next year? What will happen? Can you please tell me the timeline? What will happen from now on till next year?
Yeah, because he still have about 7 or 8 months from now to be as a prime minister. So
Right.
he remain in power for sure. And basically everything that he announced so far, for example, the national strategy plan of a 20 years national strategic plan, for example, and also he promised to eradicate corruption, so on and so forth. A lot of things that he promised us. So we have to follow through whether he could keep his promises for that, because he said that he will let all the political agenda behind, and he will work for the public, for the majority good. That's what he.
So from today to the end of the year, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha will resume his positions, and he will exercise this position to the end of the year. But then, beginning of the year to, let's say, March, what's going to happen in our politics, in our Thai politics?
I mean,
can you reveal a little bit, like, what's our interesting point that we must watch and look?
I try to keep up with the thing that could be some significant point that if the parliament won't be dissolved, as many people think about.
And any cabinet reshuffle?
Reshuffle could be the case because as of now he came back, and still many vacancy in the cabinet members. Many like you heard of the news that many have already gone for some months, even years. We still left out many people. So that might be the choice that he will try to select. But the the selection of people into the cabinet this time, he have to be careful because people, I mean, from all faction, from all walks of life, we're watching what he's doing right now because he promised us that he only have about only about half term left, and he promised that he won't pay politics, but he will work out everything for all of us. So we have to look at what he's doing right now. That if he choose someone that I would say not really clean and also have some I would say indecent background, for example, to be
It will
part
be
of his.
crucial for him to pick someone to work alongside with him for the last 6 or 7 months, for the next 6 or 7 months, not last.
He have tried by not to choose anyone, or I mean left it like this until the end of term. He could do that, but that might be a political game because the coalition government, as you know, for example, the Democrat Party, Phum Chai Thai, and many other that join the bandwagon right now. They also would like to have some of their people to fill in the cabinet members. So if we still have for example, right now we have 4 cabinet seats left. So if Kun Prayut said that I will leave it like that until the end, and as you know, only one day, just one day, as a prime minister or just one day as a ministerial position, I must say that every politician wants to become a minister. So even one day in their life, because that would help them to promote for the general election or to say to the local people as a local hero that because I was selected or appointed as a minister, so I have to be. It is someone. It is something for them. It is something that they have to.
Okay.
To
so from now on, can we say what are the importance? Let's say, can we make 2 points, 2 important events that we must watch from now to next year? Election.
I understand.
Who's going to be the next prime minister candidate? Can we actually forecast that?
Forecasted, but from now, Kun Prayut in power, every candidate still in the envelope that they submitted to the parliament right now, to the president of the parliament. So everyone in the list, in the short list right now, are all candidates that will be selected. If Kun Prayut decides something like, oh, enough is enough, I would resign and I will quit. But he's not a quitter, I guess. He always said that
he will stay. Yeah, he won't quit.
He might not say very loudly, but I think by nature he's not a quitter. So that might be the case that it's the worst I would say it's the worst scenario that I would see that he will resign. But instead of resign, he might choose to dissolve the parliament. That might be the case. And reshuffle of the cabinet member, also something. But as you said, because the tenure from now until the end of his tenure is just only about 6 or 7 months from now. So it's not really long time. So it's quite difficult also. But as I said, the coalition government tried to negotiate this kind of power because everyone wants to be in the cabinet member to show their supporter that they are someone that you have to continue support us because if we in the power like the cabinet member, we can, mobilize on budget and also implement a lot of policy for our people in our constituency or anything like that. So this could be something that make a turmoil or really chaotic situation in the government at the end of term. It could spark something that we cannot expect it, and I would not like to expect like the coup that I said, because anything can happen. But the coup is something that I think it's very rude to say coup right now, because it's not consistency with the circumstances that we're going to have the APEC summit in November. Yeah. That the important point of time that we have to make sure that everything goes smoothly from now until or after the after the APEC summit. The APEC summit.
Yes. We have to build confidence for foreigners, not in Thailand, but also for world leaders who are coming at the APEC summit. However, since we have another 5 minutes, I would like you to forecast. What would be your forecast in Thai politics?
In Thai politics, there is one thing I forgot to tell you, because the constitution right now, the MP has already asking for amendment the constitution, and they also amend the organics law, particularly the election law, and also the political party law as well. I get the election law is really important, because if you're going to meet the requirement of the general election, you have to got the organic law in hand right now. But I think everyone in Thailand now heard that the organic law is not in the proper situation, because it's already in the hand of the constitutional court as well, and the court will give the verdict at any time from now. If it's voided, or it cannot be used, or it cannot be enforced, that will be another problem. That whether we have to go back to use the former organics law, or we have to rewrite the law or amend the former amendment that we have already passed the parliament. All things together, I think this kind of situation will be the next thing that everybody, particularly the lawmakers, are very concerned right now. They're really concerned about that. We're going to have the general election very soon, but the law or the tools that could run through the general election is still not intact. And also, we have to wait and see what the court verdict will be.
It's tricky. Thai politics is very tricky. But anyway, in conclusion, pardon?
I'm sorry. Say again. Sorry.
Okay. So anyway, in conclusion, we still. Can you hear me now?
I must say that what happened now, the present will show us what the future could be or the future holds. But what happened today in Thailand is already done. It could be the journey end or the end of the journey for General Prayut, that he already in power for almost 10 years. Yes, somebody already 8 years. But if he completed his term, and I think it will be altogether about 10 years. We have him as a prime minister. yes, many people might seem to be very boring that to see our leader the same face for 10 years, a decade ago. We might want to see someone new. But I have to encourage people in Thailand that we should not we should not, I mean, pay attention on anyone individually, because we have about 60 million people. We have, I'm sure we have a few good men left. Not only Kun Prayut Chan-o-cha, even I support him, but if he cannot carry on with with his career path like that as a prime minister for the next election, we should find someone, and I'm sure we have someone on the long list, but we have to find out who they are.
So in conclusions, it is mean that Lung Tu, Uncle Tu, as we Thai say Lung Tu, right? General Prayut Chan-o-cha will still remains in his power. But anyway, however, despite many Thai people would like to see new development or new management, but let's see how this another next 6 or 7 months will be. And let's hope that we may be likely to have the general elections, and also, but general election, we don't know who's going to be the next prime minister candidate yet. So let's hope for Thailand. But for today, Ka Ajahn, I would like to thank you very much for being here and for spare time for us as well. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Ka. And that's all for Voice of the Nations for today. Stay tuned with us from Monday to Friday. Every Monday to Friday at 8 to 8:30 p.m. You also can watch a rerun on our Facebook fan page, Nation Thailand, and also on our website, nationthailand.com for today. Me, Nina, Nirasha, Marisak, Lami, and Ajahn Amon would like to say goodbye to you. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ อาจารย์
Having me.